welcome to another segment of Coffee Talk. I hope you could bring a good cup of joe with you because we have one of the leading technical consultant experts in the accounting industry, Randy Johnston with K2 Enterprises. For those who don't know, Randy is one of the 2004 through 2024 Accounting Today's top 100 most influential people, top 25 thought leaders in the accounting industry from 2011 through 2024, inducted into the CPA Practice Advisor Accounting Hall of Fame in 2011, has started his own multiple businesses, including K2 Enterprises, taught technology at many universities and many colleges, including Huntington Community College, James Madison University, Western Washington University, and the University of Central Oklahoma. Over 40 years of management and technology consulting experience in technology and the accounting industry. Welcome, Randy. So Randy, let's talk about something fun. When it comes to Wi-Fi and the internet and speed, and there's nothing that gets geekier and gets me more excited than talking about increase in bandwidth and performance. And here now we're hearing about Wi-Fi 7 is coming, it's on its way. What does this mean to the accounting industry as a whole, and what is the latest in Wi-Fi 7, and what can we expect?
Well, Wi-Fi 7, I'm excited about because for decades, we've had to run on wire, on cables to get enough speed. And,
Coax.
I can go, yeah, as a matter of fact, I hadn't even thought back to coax, but you're right, because, we can go back to the old RG58A/U, C/U's, and Ethernet and ArcNet and all those coax cables. But we eventually got up on twisted pair, Cat 3, 5, 5E, 6, 6A, 6AFs, and so forth. But the reason we kept having the standards changed in the wired cables was to support greater throughput. And the same type of thing happened here with Wi-Fi. Now, again, Wi-Fi names got standardized. In the old days, it was also a little bit of alphabet soup, 802.11b and A and G and N and A and AX and so forth. I mean, we had lots of letters. And what happened is all that stuff got numbered. And so the easy way to think about it, the top of the stack right now is Wi-Fi 7, which is actually 802.11be is the proper name of that. Wi-Fi 6E was 802.11ax, as was Wi-Fi 6. And by the way, we get going back for Wi-Fi 5 and 4 and 3.
Yeah.
But the bottom line here is speed. Now, the new Wi-Fi standard will provide speeds of up to 46 gigabits per second. And unless you're using mesh right now, this will provide you more speed than 1 gigabit wired net. Now, that's kind of cool for a minute, because if you think about it, many of our firms today are running on gigabit adapters. But the other thing that happened with Wi-Fi 7 was it added some new channels and frequencies. So in the old Wi-Fi 6 and 6E, there were 8 multiple input, multiple output streams. And here in Wi-Fi 7, there's 16. Now, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to say, okay, if I got an 8-lane road versus a 16-lane road, which will handle more traffic? And unless you're in a major metro where they're all parking lots anyway, typically a 16-lane road will pass more traffic through for you. Now, the extra piece here was the frequency. There was an additional frequency of 320 megahertz added for Wi-Fi 7 as well. So the security, all kind of the same. WPA3 has been around for a while on this, but there's one other little twist, maybe two more little twists on this, Chris. First, Wi-Fi 7 packs the data tighter in its packets. And the technical name for that is a 4K QM, or quadrature amplitude modulation. Now, Wi-Fi 7 is a 4K QM, but Wi-Fi 6 and 6E was only a 1K QM, so you didn't get as much data in the same packet. And if we go back to Wi-Fi 5, that was only a 256 QAM. And if we went to Wi-Fi 4, it was 64. So the density of the data is radically greater with the QAMs. The next technical thing is known as a multi-link operation. Wi-Fi 7 access points can connect simultaneously on multiple bands. So the predecessor technologies, even with MIMO antennas, multiple input, multiple output antennas, only connected on one link. Here we can get two links. So now we've got even greater throughput. Now, all of that said, we basically are getting to the point that wireless can be secure, wireless can be radically faster, and the vendors that are starting to deliver Wi-Fi 7 are, pretty good, reputable vendors. So one that I like as an example here is the Ubiquiti Unify product. They are shipping now Unify 7, and it is a massively scalable Wi-Fi technology. Now, there's some other vendors out there that have it too, and we can talk more about those in a minute. But that's a long rant getting you set up on Wi-Fi 7 and why I'm kind of excited about it
Oh
because,
yeah.
hey, we can finally get past all these bloody cables.
What about range? Any range improvements with Wi-Fi 7?
I wish there was. No, it's the same old thing on that. So, 100 meters, 300 feet, depends on the walls. There's still some issues around that. But the Wi Fi 7 is far more mesh enabled. So, even in my home office, by the way, I'm running 4 mesh points. And so you can be anywhere within our house and in our backyard, and it's all like super solid connections. We're going to suggest over time Wi-Fi 7 mesh could really handle a firm of about any size. Now,
Yeah.
Wi-Fi 7 is it's basically hard to say for sure, but the Intel engineers that are behind this claim that it should be able to service thousands of clients. That's a big number because most
Thousands.
firms, yeah, most firms are hard pressed to have more than a couple hundred people in any single location. But again, they tried to design this so it could be used in a basketball court or a football stadium and cover the entire, sports venue, and everybody would be happy with their performance, unlike we see sometimes today with cellular and the limitations in 5G.
Yeah, another thing to keep in mind is the signals will and this technology will only go fast as its weakest link. So if your internet is 1 gig, you're going to be limited at 1 gig. If the server NIC card is 10 gig, you're going to be limited at 10 gig. So it's not just I'm going to upgrade my access points and everything all of a sudden will be magically faster. Again, it's only going to be limited to wherever the bottleneck may be, but really exciting stuff.
It
And
is, and in fact, the narrowest point is the main constraint. I know you and I have chatted recently about the limitation of solid state drives, and even since we talked last, there's been a new evolution on solid states to double their speeds, and it's like, oh, really? Well, that's pretty fascinating stuff. So, is there limitations everywhere? Yeah, switches, firewalls, internet speeds, NIC cards, whatever, but Wi-Fi 7, I think, is a convenience factor. Our cell phone, new generation stuff will have Wi-Fi 7 in it. So all of a sudden, the days of, creeping and watching a browser go so slow or an application go so slow or email come in, so I'm kind of excited about this.
could this be the end of wired connections?
I think it could be, yes. And I have been reticent to say that for decades without exaggeration. Uh, but yeah, up to this point, I was really of the school. If I was going to try to get a 1 gig connection wired, right? If I was trying to do the same thing on Wi-Fi 6 or 6E, about the maximum throughput I could get on Wi-Fi 6 or 6E was 9.6 gig. That got me pretty close to thinking this might be the time, but there were still indications that the Wi-Fi of Wi-Fi 6 or 6E still didn't quite perform as good as some of the wired. Plus, you had that whole card, right? You had the
Hmm.
10 gig that some people got on wired. Okay, so yeah, but now 46, I don't see us putting 100 gig to the desktop or to the laptop anytime soon.
And RF signal degradation and other things in the house, whether it be the microwave or the devices. I mean, that's I do you, any comment or any research on is Wi-Fi 7 supposed to do better with RF signal degradation because of other devices? Any
It,
caps
it,
in?
it
Go ahead.
does. Yeah, that's a superb question and absolutely does. And part of that is the multiple frequencies that are available. So they basically, for example, in the Ubiquity line on the Unify 7, they actually do RF environment scanning and they look for radio frequencies that are out there that are conflict and then block those or skip them. Now, you and I have both been around this a long time. Some of the earliest of the technologies tried to play that game, but there weren't enough channels to skip to a place that wasn't occupied. Well, now we've got, many channels and many way to communicate. So that actually is improved with the vendors who are producing this. Now, the Wi-Fi Alliance at CES, announced that it had been begun certifying the Wi-Fi 7 routers and devices in general, and there had been prior consumer grade devices out there like TP-Link's Deco Mesh or Archer's BE800. And this again, the Unify U7 Pro Power over Ethernet access points are certified. There's a few other vendors that are coming, MSI, Romies, and Acer's gaming routers and so forth. It's still early, Chris. I don't want people to think, oh, we can go out and buy this today and it'll, and our teeth will be whiter and it's better than sliced bread and all that stuff, but it's close and it's close enough that it's time to plan to the point that I wouldn't invest a lot in predecessor Wi-Fi technology.
Yeah. So it's time, and something to keep your eye on for sure.
For sure. And in fact, in your homes, if you've got home setups, next time you're out, you'll actually will be surprised that the Wi-Fi 7s in the homes will actually be available. I think the Dream Machine, for example, is scheduled to be upgraded with this. So all of a sudden you get better security, you get better performance. What a deal.
Well, Randy, thank you so much. Thank you for joining today's coffee talk and sharing your expertise on this topic. And for those who are still with us, thank you for joining us today. We hope you learned something new and will help you and your firm improve your processes. And if you still want to get more information, and tips, and best practices, reach out to Randy directly and from the experts, and subscribe to our channel for more videos and news. Cheers.